Okay, so today we're going to tackle a really critical question. How in the world do you secure an AI that can actually think for itself? I mean, we're not talking about your simple chatbots anymore. We're talking about AI agents, things that can take real actions in the real world. And to keep them in check, we need a totally new security playbook. So let's dive into something called the MAESTRO framework.
So let me just ask you this, straight up. That awesome new AI agent you've been building, the one that can browse the web, dig into your company's private data, and even issue refunds, can you really trust it? I mean, it's powerful, it's super efficient, but is it also a security nightmare just waiting to happen? That's really the central question we've got to answer.
You see, the challenge here is that securing these new agentic AI systems is just a completely different ballgame from securing a traditional app. A normal app is kind of like a vending machine, right? You put in a specific command, you get a predictable result. An agentic AI, though, well, that's like giving a master chef a goal, say, make a delicious meal, and then just letting them loose in the kitchen. They choose the ingredients, they choose the tools, they choose the techniques. The result could be brilliant, yeah, but the process is way, way less predictable.
To put it another way, think of it like this. Securing a regular app is like putting a good lock on a storefront. You know where the doors and windows are. But securing an agentic AI, that's like trying to secure an entire sprawling automated factory floor, where these robotic workers are constantly moving, adapting, and making their own decisions. The complexity and, honestly, the potential for things to go catastrophically wrong are just on a whole other level.
So let's actually step inside that automated factory for a minute and take a closer look. What is it, exactly, that makes these systems such a unique and, frankly, intimidating security challenge? Why are they such a different beast?
Well, it really boils down to 4 unique wrinkles, or, ticking time bombs, that our older security models just weren't built for. First, you've got autonomy. The agent can just go off script, make its own plan. Second is tool use. Its output isn't just text anymore. It could be a real-world action, like deleting a file or spending money. Third, there's memory. An agent's memory can be poisoned with bad data, which can lead it to make some really dangerous mistakes. And finally, you have multi-agent interactions. The moment agents start talking to each other, you get this whole new layer of complexity and, you guessed it, potential for disaster.
So to get through this tricky new territory, we're going to need a new map. And that, right there, is where Maestro comes in. Think of it as a purpose-built framework designed to help us chart a safe course through the really complex security landscape of agentic AI.
So MAESTRO stands for Multi-Agent Environment, Security, Threat, Risk, and Outcome. It's a bit of a mouthful, I know. But it's so much more than just an acronym. It's a powerful tool that gives developers a structured way to think about threats. And here's the really crucial part. It's not just about finding single bugs in one spot. It's about understanding how those little vulnerabilities can chain together across the entire system to create a massive failure.
Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? Well, the very first step is to create a detailed blueprint of your AI system. And to do that, the framework gives us this really powerful 7-layer map.
This map breaks down any agentic system into 7 distinct layers. You start at the very bottom with the foundation models, the brains of the whole operation. Right on top of that, you've got data operations. That's how the AI gets and processes information. Then the agent frameworks that actually direct the AI's actions. After that is deployment and infrastructure, the hardware and cloud services it all runs on. Then there's evaluation and observability so you can see what it's doing. Security and compliance is the layer that's supposed to enforce the rules. And finally, at the very top, the agent ecosystem, which is where your AI might talk to other AIs. By mapping every single piece of your system to one of these layers, you create this incredible blueprint for your threat hunt.
Okay, so you've got your blueprint. Now it's time to actually go on the hunt. And MAESTRO gives us a super clear, step-by-step workflow to systematically find all those hidden weak spots in your system.
The process is really rigorous and, systematic. First, you define your scope. What are you actually trying to protect? Then you decompose your architecture using that 7-layer map we just talked about. Next, you identify entry points, all the possible ways an attacker could sneak in. From there, you threat model each layer individually. And then, and this is the really powerful part, you find cross-layer attack chains. These are those hidden connections that can turn a tiny problem into a massive breach. Finally, of course, you mitigate and verify your fixes. And maybe most importantly, you make it continuous. Because let's face it, in the world of AI, the threats are changing every single day. And I really can't stress this enough. Looking for bugs in individual components is kind of like checking the locks on each door of a skyscraper. Yeah, it's important, but it totally misses the bigger picture. The most catastrophic failures, they happen in the spaces between the floors, in the elevator shafts, the ventilation systems, the wiring. That's where a small fire can become a building-wide inferno. And it's exactly the same with AI systems. The connections between the layers, that's where the real danger is hiding.
All right, enough with the theory, let's get our hands dirty. Let's walk through a real-world example and see how the MAESTRO framework can help us uncover a potentially devastating vulnerability in a pretty common AI application.
So, let's just imagine a scenario that's becoming super common, a sophisticated customer support chatbot. But this is not your simple Q&A bot. Oh no, this thing is connected to your company's internal knowledge base. It can look up sensitive customer data in your CRM, and here's where it gets really risky. It has the power to issue refunds. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
This right here, this is what a real threat looks like when you document it using MAESTRO. We've found a critical vulnerability that spans 2 layers, data operations and the agent framework. The asset at risk? Cold hard cash. The threat? An attacker poisons the AI's knowledge base, tricking it into giving out fraudulent refunds. The attack path is actually simple, but devastating. An attacker submits a cleverly worded support ticket. That ticket gets absorbed into the AI's memory, and the next thing you know, your AI is literally giving away your money.
And here you can just see the domino effect in action. It all kicks off with one single poison document in your data layer. That triggers a prompt injection that compromises both the foundation model and the agent framework. That in turn leads to an unauthorized tool call that bridges the agent framework and the deployment infrastructure. And just to make matters worse, the whole illegal transaction, maybe even with sensitive data in it, is then recorded in your logs, compromising your evaluation and observability layer. It's one small crack in the dam, and the entire system just comes crashing down.
So here's the bottom line, the big takeaway. MAESTRO is more than just a bug hunting tool. It's a new way of seeing. It's like putting on a pair of glasses that lets you see all the invisible threads connecting every part of your system. It helps you connect the dots and spot those deadly, complex attack chains before an attacker ever gets a chance to exploit them.
And that really brings us to the ultimate question we all have to answer. As these incredibly powerful AI agents get more and more embedded in our lives, are we building loyal, trustworthy partners? Or are we just unleashing unpredictable and potentially dangerous forces? The line between the two is razor thin, and it's defined by how seriously we take security. Frameworks like MAESTRO, they aren't just a good idea. They are absolutely essential if we want to build an AI-powered future that we can all actually trust.